Have you ever wondered how the BRICS not only encouraged collaboration among developing nations, but also tried to balance the global system? As BRICS deepened ties with Russia, new alliances emerged among world heavyweights. Despite sanctions against Russia and increased geopolitical tensions, the BRICS move caused an unforeseen change in the global economy, the impacts of which are being felt all over the world. This is an opportunity for every nation to reconsider their future strategies. The BRICS countries' growing economic power and expanded commercial links have begun to have an impact on the global economy. In particular, Russia's energy exports have had a significant impact on the global energy market. BRICS countries have frequently taken a unified stance on global concerns, such as climate change, global health, and economic development. As a result, his voice has gained global recognition. Russia's entrance to BRICS has expedited the process of global power fluctuations and changes, particularly as Russia's relations with the West have deteriorated. Sanctions imposed by the Group of Seven and other Western countries in the aftermath of Russia's invasion last year of Ukraine are driving the BRICS grouping of countries closer together. Since the imposition of sanctions, India and China have drastically stepped up imports of Russian oil and have used currencies other than the dollar to pay for it, as the BRICS grouping seeks to challenge the dollar's dominance, with China in particular keen to widen use of its renminbi. The benefits the new members could bring Russia are varied. Iran has supplied weapons to Russia. The United Arab Emirates provides an environment where Russia allegedly evades sanctions. Egypt is a committed partner of Russia in multiple spheres, notably cooperating over nuclear energy, importing Russian grain, and as a popular tourist destination. In April, Cairo was accused of allegedly planning to deliver weapons to Russia. In the case of Russia and BRICS, Russia's goals are to increase its position in the global system and to integrate countries other than the European Union. The group promotes economic cooperation, trade, and development projects. Russia has made steps to broaden its contacts with other countries following strained relations with EU countries. Despite blocked relations and sanctions, Russia has attempted to establish connections with countries outside the Western alliance. Russia's initiatives are focused at boosting its economic and political influence, particularly in countries under the frigid spell of the West. This plan signals a new era in international ties with Russia. This strategy marks a new era in international relations, where Russia and other non-Western countries seek to enhance their power through mutual cooperation. Consequently, using the BRICS platform, Russia is seeking to further strengthen relations with developing countries to contribute to the creation of a balanced global system. A question also arises that why is the expansion of BRICS happening now? There has been a long-standing desire to expand. The BRICS primarily appeal to developing countries with reasonably established economies. However, there are significant variations in economic and military capability among the 5 present BRICS countries. What first pulled them together was an idea that they shared common interests, particularly in the economic sphere. At the same time, some of these countries sought to expand their influence in the developing world. You can see how China, Russia, and India have separately engaged Africa over the previous decade. So they all have this objective, and by working together, they may gain higher authority, potentially as a group that can represent the interests of the developing countries. Different states may have different reasons for joining. For Iran, it boosts Iran's diplomatic space significantly. Iran is an important inclusion since, like Russia, it has faced severe sanctions from the United States. That begs the question, what can the BRICS do for the rest of the world? It could be more of a grouping that attempts to create interactions between itself in order to strengthen its position in comparison to the world's most sophisticated industrialized economies. Recently, BRICS has attempted to broaden its circle to include more countries and strengthen its status as a global power. Iran, Saudi Arabia, and Turkey have all shown an interest in joining. The situation is not only changing the nature of international relations, but it may also be a forerunner to a potential global disaster on the economic, political, and strategic levels. The goal of BRICS becoming a global force is to promote trade relations, support the interests of developing countries, and to build a powerful economic bloc that can better express their viewpoint on global issues. With Argentina, Ethiopia, Egypt, Iran, Saudi Arabia, and the United Arab Emirates joining the ranks, questions arise about the implications for Europe and the West. Is this a threat to Western leadership or an opportunity for stability on the world stage? At the heart of this transformation lies the inclusion of the Arabian Gulf's heavyweights, Saudi Arabia and the UAE, both long-standing Western allies. You can ask any Gulf analyst, and they will tell you, this isn't just a diplomatic move, it's a strategic commitment by the two Gulf countries to safeguard their interests and ensure long-term stability, energy security, and prosperity. Europe should take note of the broader implications. The region has emerged as a global hub for high-profile events and conferences, from the upcoming UN Climate Change Conference, COP28 in Dubai, to peace negotiations in Doha during the Afghan crisis. The inclusion of Saudi Arabia and the UAE in BRICS offers numerous advantages, given the substantial political influence in the global economy that these giants wield. Their addition diversifies BRICS, promoting a more balanced world order and diluting what some might perceive as the anti-Western sentiment of BRICS. Just like that, China's outreach to the Middle East fits into a larger Chinese coalition-building strategy among Global South countries, aided in part by its global development and global security initiatives, which articulate its vision for a new global economic and security order. Until recently, China had minimal political clout in the Middle East, where the United States has usually dominated. However, the inclusion of key Middle Eastern states in BRICS is a significant breakthrough for China, which aspires to convert its economic weight into tangible regional political support for its global ambitions. Middle Eastern powers have multiple motivations for drawing closer to BRICS. While BRICS's economic heft is a common point of attraction, Egypt, Iran, Saudi Arabia, and the UAE all have their own political rationales for forging closer links with the bloc. Iran, meanwhile, with its already poor relations with many Western countries, has taken the opportunity of its BRICS invitation to argue that the US-led international order is collapsing. Iran, given its anti-West worldview, is a natural candidate for China's coalition-building strategy in the Global South. Its oil exports are under US sanctions, and it relies on Chinese purchases of Iranian oil as its principal source of foreign earnings. Since 2005, Iran has pursued a Look East policy to emphasize cooperation with China and Russia. Saudi Arabia, however, is still mulling the proposal, but is likely to be on board as it seeks to balance its relationship with the United States alongside emerging powers like China, analysts have predicted. As the US weaponized the dollar in the Russian and Iran sanctions, there is increasing desire by other developing countries to seek alternative currencies for trade, investment, and reserves, as well as developing alternative multilateral clearance systems outside of SWIFT. For this, the BRICS plan was already prepared, which is regarding the BRICS currency. While talk of a possible currency has focused attention on options to replace the dollar, the goal is less about replacing the dollar than giving the world more choices. BRICS Plus could make a significant global impact, as BRICS Plus brings together both some of the world's biggest energy producers and buyers. With the addition of Iran, Saudi Arabia, and the UAE, BRICS member states account for around 32% of world output of natural gas and 43% of crude oil. If Kazakhstan, Kuwait, and Bahrain are admitted, those shares will rise further. BRICS plus nations also account for 38% of global petroleum imports, led by China and India. Trade has been a major driver of the economic development of BRICS. The share of global trade in goods transacted among the group's current members more than doubled to 40% from 2002 through 2022. This trend becomes clearer when looking at the increasing dependence of specific BRICS economies on trade with fellow BRICS members. China's growing role as a supplier of industrial and consumer goods, as well as an importer of commodities, has been a key force for integration. The greatest progress so far in BRICS plus institution building has been in project and development finance. Russia, China, and other BRICS members also aim to promote digital currencies. This could help nations ease reliance on the US and make them less vulnerable to sanctions and foreign exchange volatility during financial crises. BRICS also gained support from more Middle Eastern countries because on June the 10th, a joint statement by the foreign ministers of BRICS clearly condemned Israel's military action in Rafah and expressed grave concern over Israel's gross disregard for international law. So with the growing influence of BRICS, the European bloc finally has some worthy opponents. What do you think Russian influence over BRICS can mean to the European Union? If you found this video informative, kindly subscribe to my channel and press the bell icon for more updates. Thanks for watching.